In 5, 4, 3.
This is JD's podcast. JD's Rubber Boots podcast. We're gonna sit and relax and tell you all sorts of stories. Talk about life and little sports. You know we're gonna play some games. And if nothing else, you know we're gonna have a laugh. We're gonna have a laugh, oh yeah. 'Cause this is the podcast.
Guys, hello. I got to keep it low because I have a couple of things I need to tell you. That Brooksy is in the next room watching TV.
I guess that's what I'm saying, Brooksy.
A couple of things happened in the last half hour or so. One, I was doing the quiz today with the guys, and Brooksy decided she wasn't happy with my set, my office set. She wanted to improve my background, so she started coming in here and moving plants aside. And she found a pair of panties on my desk.
No.
She said, "What the hell are these doing down here?" And she knew they were hers.
Oh, okay.
I'm like, don't you remember a few weeks ago things got really crazy one night? She said, "No, that never happened. And I don't know why my panties are in your office." And I said, "I have no idea either. That's just crazy. Must have been one of the dogs." Second thing that happened in mere moments before we set up for this is I was getting cocky with my new net set up on my back patio. I have to explain to you that it's kind of, I have sort of a main patio on the main compound, and then over in the west wing there's like a little patio, and that's the only place where Brooksy allowed me to set up the golf net. So it's a bit of a tight situation, and there is one very nice outdoor hanging lamp that I've been able to avoid with my irons, but I decided to take my driver out just to see if I could finagle the driver. And this is what an idiot I am. I looked at it. I took like 5 practice swings, and it was just like it was missing the lamp by a foot.
Yeah.
And then I took a step forward thinking it would take me further away. And on the first swing, I shattered the lamp.
Yikes.
So
Brooksy can't be happy.
I just picked up, no, she doesn't know. I just picked up all the glass. I'm just kind of hoping that the next 6 months she never goes on that patio. Puffy, are you drinking a Mick Ultra?
Yes, I am.
The sponsorship, the greatest sponsorship that never happened.
Hey, it is Masters Week after all.
Champagne Tuesday with a bus this year.
We've started.
I know. Did you wear your Tang shirt on Tang Tuesday?
No, I did not. I didn't want to even think about it. It disappointed me so.
Now, Puffy, are you in your driveway? Because, again, I see if passersby go by or the police and you're just sitting in your car drinking a beer.
Well, that might be the least of my problems.
Give me a second, guys.
Should we just continue the podcast without him stuff?
Yeah. You think it's the boy Wonder calling?
Mikey Ampapunkus? Alapika?
1/3 of the Gravediggers.
The Gravediggers.
Or Tony Ferraro?
Oh, yes, Tony. It could be Tony.
Could be.
More likely it's Sean Redmond saying, "Lester, you have 5 networks to program. Get your ass back to work and stop spending time with these clowns."
There's nothing on TSN3.
Lester has been doing a fine job. So
Yes.
Lester, usually, ESPN Classic, we don't talk about it much. It runs all the old games, but now that's what we do for a large portion of our programming. And by the way, have you watched any of the Masters the last couple nights?
It's so weird watching it, knowing where everything is. Like, seeing exactly where, like when they were behind the scenes or whatever. Like, yesterday watching Spieth win, and then when he was walking off, I'm like, oh, I'm right there. I know, and knowing where I was when it was happening. It was kind of, it was weird to watch.
I know. I thought I saw you in a scrum the year later were you scrumming Danny Willett?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because so last night was when Spieth collapsed and Danny Willett won. So, but there was a Danny Willett scrum and there was a TSN mic right up there. and the person who was holding the mic was crouched down, and I'm like, is that Puffy? But I couldn't really see your face.
That was me, yeah.
Look at you, all over the classic moments of sporting history.
Well, that's the thing. Like I was like since '02, I've been at all of them except for one. So it's like we're going through all these years. It's like, oh, that's where I remember that.
And look, it's not ideal, and this week hurts because it's Masters Week. But I watched the 4 hours of the Weir one, and I was just riveted. Even though I've seen it probably 3 times, just watching everything happen, watching Jeff Maggart collapse, and sort of everybody fall by the wayside around him, except for Len Matisse, who just is on fire. And man, Weirzy was so good. His putting was so clutch in that round.
His short game at that time was unbelievable. Like from 90 yards in, he was so incredible.
I had a moment, I think I was texting with you and Bump. I watched 4 hours of an LPGA major from 2 years ago. And I was pretty sure, like, of the results. Are we still doing the pod?
Yeah, of course. But those are the best ones to watch now, the ones you don't know the result, because you can openly root for someone.
Oh, yeah.
I know. But then you remember things and you go, I think this is what's going to happen, but I don't know.
So you got to go way off the board like Chinese handball.
Speaking of, I was going to say, speaking of podcasts, since we're doing one, my segue game is not in exactly A form right now.
Lost the fastball, Jimmy.
So I opened up my DMs a couple of weeks ago on Twitter, and I was trying to think of something positive to do during this entire thing, and so I said I'd send messages to healthcare workers, doctors, nurses, any sort of essential workers, and so I've been doing that a little bit for the last 3 weeks or so. I only say that because, and I'm going to read a message actually at the end of the podcast from one of the doctors who wrote me back, which was really cool. But I've also, when you open up your DMs, you get all sorts of other messages, right?
Oh.
So I get 95% people doing the right thing, asking for messages, and a couple of weirdos.
Any Joe Bucks?
No Joe Bucks.
Wow, that's too bad.
No, but I have a bunch of people writing to ask me to be on their podcast. I don't know why they wouldn't just write me on Twitter normally, but I guess DM feels a little less comfortable. So I've been saying yes because, as you said, Puffy, we don't have that much to do. So I'm pretty much saying yes to most people who ask me to be on their podcast if I can find 10 minutes. So yesterday I did 4 podcasts. And
nice.
Jimmy, as you know, details are not his number one thing. Like I can focus on the one thing at a time, but I'm not good at emails and what came from what. So I couldn't exactly keep the podcast straight. So the first guy who writes me saying, okay, are you good for 11 a.m. or whatever? And I was pretty sure it was these guys from Montreal who were doing a Habs podcast because they'd written me. So I'm like, okay, we're going to talk about the Habs and hockey for an hour. So this guy gets on. Name is Michael, really nice guy. And he asked me a lot of journalism questions and broadcasting questions and everything. I'm like, wow, this is not a lot of Hab questions on this thing.
Yeah.
And I can see him because we're doing it on Zoom. And he's just sort of in this room and thinking, is this a guy I know in the media? But he seems pretty young. So I'm thinking, what outlet does he work for? Or, how do I know this podcast? And because the one I thought it was a really well-followed podcast in Eastern Canada. So finally he gets to the end and he asks for like advice for young broadcasters, and I give it to him and I'm like, who do you work for anyway? And he goes, oh, I'm just in grade 11. I just started this thing. But he was great. He was very talented. He asked good questions and I'm like, hey. So I literally was doing the guy sitting at home doing his first podcast. No, I think he'd done a couple of podcasts, but very, very nice guy.
He probably has more Twitter followers than we do.
He did. He asked very, very good questions. So I loved being on with Michael, even though I didn't know what the podcast was about till the very end. Hi, welcome back, Lester. He's not even hooked up yet.
No, he's just on the phone. I think
he's still on the phone. So then another one of the ones I did, Puffy, was do you know that gentleman Jonah who covers media?
Yes.
So I think a lot of people in our business follow him, and I've never met Jonah before. This was the first time I talked to him. He reached out to me last week, and I did his podcast. Really nice guy, very knowledgeable about the media because I think he covers that on a regular basis. But this was interesting because he lives in Seattle, so he does, again, it's through Zoom. So we hook up through Zoom, and once we start talking, he says, so how's it going out there? And so I figure the podcast is on, right? I said, I'm doing well. And he starts talking about life in Seattle. Obviously, Washington had been hit really hard. And then he starts asking me about when sports is going to start again. And I give a long spiel about the baseball scenario that they're talking about in Arizona and the NBA and the NHL and all the logistical problems I feel these things have. That until we have a testing situation where you can do instant testing, kind of like those pregnancy tests, that I think this is kind of impossible because if one guy tests positive, the whole thing breaks down. And so we went on for 35 minutes. Yeah. And so I'm thinking, wow, he's asking a lot of questions, and he was talking about Trump and wailing on him a little bit. And I said, boy, this is a very coronavirus focused podcast. And I thought we were about to wrap up. And then there came a lull in the question. And he goes, okay, I'm going to start now. And the whole thing had been a preamble. And, I was sitting there, trying to make intelligent answers. When you're doing these podcasts, you're being yourself, but you still, want to be a reasonably semi-intelligent human being. And so he goes, okay, you ready to start now? And I go, what the hell was the last 35 minutes? So anyway, that's Adventures in Podcasting, our new segment that will probably only last 1 week. Nice. I really only tell you all of this. This was the longest preamble to a story really in history, because I was lying in bed last night. Brooksy's already asleep. And I was trying to think of what we were going to talk about on the show today, because I will say it's a lot harder than everyday life. A lot more happens in life than when you were cooped up in your house. Would you guys not agree?
Oh, absolutely.
Yes. It's Groundhog Day every day.
Yeah, so there's not a lot of wacky stories when you just get up and do the damn thing in your house every day.
Yeah.
Besides the panties Brooksy finds on your desk.
I guess that's what I'm saying, Brooksy.
But
yeah, that could have been dodgy for you, my friend.
Right. So
still is a little dodgy.
I go to bed last night thinking about all these podcasts I did. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, we got our podcast tomorrow. I just did all these podcasts. What can we talk about on our podcast? So podcast was just like reaming in my brain. Yeah. And have you guys been having really vivid dreams during this?
Yes, I have.
Yeah.
Okay. So that seems to be a common thing with everybody. And as you guys know, I have very vivid dreams anyway. But during this time, I've been having, like, the dreams are so goofy. I haven't even been sharing them with you. And they've been so out there that I haven't really remembered them the way I should. But last night, it felt like the entire night I was just dreaming about podcasts. And so I ended up having a dream which was a pure podcast-focused dream, which wasn't that interesting a dream, but we haven't done dreams in a while. So let's do dreams.
So baby, dry your eyes, save all the tears you're crying. Oh, that's what dreams are made of.
So this was one I finally got up and wrote down, because it involves golf and all my favorite things. So the last thing on my mind is podcasts. So I start my dream and I'm at Cabot, beautiful Cabot, which I don't know if we'll get to this summer or not with all the restrictions, but still hoping to, and do our annual Cabot podcast. So it doesn't look like Cabot, but in my head, I'm at Cabot. It's not as beautiful as Cabot, but it is a golf course. And I'm doing a podcast there, but it's not with any of you guys.
Damn it.
It's with like 3 strangers. And our subject is how to make risotto. I think Brooksy made risotto for dinner, so that must have been in my head.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it was I'm thinking in my mind, this is a horrible podcast. There's a long line at the first tee. Matt Dunn, who won't mean anything to our listeners, and Matt Cade are both there playing. Cade, nice. Of course, who hasn't been on the pod in a while. O-Dog shows up,
James, I don't give a shit about your podcast.
and he's playing with Muggsy Bogues.
Wow.
So
Well,
you already know that Muggsy Bogues
Charlotte.
commercial that's running now?
Yep.
Is that one of those websites or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, GoDaddy, I think, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's GoDaddy. So they're playing together, and there's a big line for the tee, and O-Dog just walks up to the tee with Muggsy Bogues. They pass everybody, and people are yelling at him, and I yell, "Damn, man, what are you thinking?" That's the exact words I yell. And he goes, "I scored 40 goals." And so he just tees off and leaves. So that's apropos of nothing, because in my head, I say to myself, "Damn, man, what are you thinking?" is the best idea for a podcast segment I've ever had. Do you ever have ideas in your dreams that feel like this is like an unbelievable idea, like for a screenplay or something, and then you wake up and it was like the stupidest idea ever?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
But in this dream, "Damn, man, what are you thinking?" is like the greatest podcast segment I've ever and it stays with me the whole night. Like I wake up and I go back to sleep and I'm obsessed with this "damn, man, what are you thinking?" So I call Stoff and I'm like, "Jimmy." And Stoff is like, "Jimmy, I'm on vacation, leave me alone." It's like, he goes, "The pod is over." And I said, No, Stoff, we need to do this now. We have to do the segment called "Damn, man, what are you thinking?" And Stoff says, "Well, nobody's around or anything like this." And at the same time, it's my turn to go to the tee, and I fall into one of these golf dreams where I can't tee up my ball. And now Muggsy Bogues is back. You know, I've told you about these dreams I have where there's like a brick wall behind me and I can't swing my club,
Yes.
or maybe a lamp.
A lamp, yeah.
And so Muggsy Bogues is there. Muggsy Bogues is watching me can't swing the club, and he says, "Damn, man, what are you thinking?" I said, "Exactly." And now I'm trying to get Lester on the line saying, "You need to do a theme for 'Damn, man, what are you thinking?'" I'm not sure about the tune, but Lester calls me back and he's like, "How's this? Damn, man, what are you thinking? Hey, man, have you been drinking? Damn, man, what are you thinking?" is a segment on our pod. So that was it was a very horrible tune, but that was part of my dream. And that's when I woke up. And I don't think we should do "Damn, man, are you thinking?" as a segment, do you?
Probably not.
I don't know. We already have all the elements.
Well, yeah, we got a theme. It's just I don't even know what the segment
Well,
would be.
I guess we figure out somebody who did something stupid and then we rip them for it.
Well, it's you know what it sounded like when I woke up. It felt like a ripoff of what's the thing they do on ESPN stuff on Monday Night Football. They used to do it before.
Oh,
Come on, man.
Come on, man.
yeah.
Because in my dream, Muggsy Bogues kind of said it like that. He was like, "Damn, man, what are you thinking?"
That's pretty good.
All right. So anyway, maybe we'll have to debut "Damn, man, what are you thinking?"
Tell that to the quiz master.
Yeah, he will have us doing that next week. Hi, everybody. Here's Craig Button, Jamie McLennan, and Mike Johnson with "Damn, man, what are you thinking?"
It could work.
Lester's not back, by the way. So
No, but are you guys seeing his setup in there? I'm wondering, does he use that trampoline in that spot? Because it looks like he would literally go through the roof.
okay, so let's describe this for the listeners. Here he is. He's coming back. He's wearing a Blue Jays tank top.
Oh, here we go.
He's got a trampoline. He's got. It looks like I don't know what's behind him.
Listen, did you guys sort of continue on with the pod, or what did you do?
No, we didn't at all. Lester, we're going to do our new segment now called "Damn, man, what are you thinking?" Can you play the theme?
Oh my God!
Damn, man, what are you thinking? Damn, have you been drinking? Sorry, Lester.
I love it. It's okay.
Yeah, there's no backstory to that at all, Lester. I just came up with that right now on the fly.
That is the genius of James Duthie.
Lester, what was the you really didn't miss much shit. What was the phone call about? Was it work related?
It was work related. That was our senior VP of programming, Sean Redmond, just talking about a few things. We need some help. Obviously, we've got a lot going on, and we're doing our best to bring the bring the viewers the same choice we always do. So Canada Sports Leader, we're digging in. So
is there
that's what
any
the call is
shot of a daily Rubber Boots Pod show airing in prime time, 9 to 10 Eastern?
I'm pretty hard right now.
We can't do 9 to 10 after 10. 10 after 9, rather. Sorry.
And would that show open with you in your Blue Jays tank top on your trampoline?
No chance. Especially the Jays tank top.
Stoff had a question about the placement of your trampoline. Go ahead, Stoff.
No, I was just wondering if that's the spot you use it in, because it looks like you would go through the ceiling.
You know what? It's not. It is the spot I use it in. It's actually not a trampoline. It's more like a rebounder. It's not a purse. It's European. It's more for just like if you want to bounce for a bit and just get the blood flowing and whatnot. You like that word bounce there, Puff?
Well, who just wants to go for a bounce besides Tinder?
I do.
Oh, here we go. Now we're potting.
You see?
Oh, we see.
I actually practices his jumps on stage when he leaps in the air.
Speaking of that, I'll tell you a quick story. There was years ago, I'm not going to mention his name.
Sorry, we're out of time.
There was an artist in Toronto, and he used to always go on. He was kind of the Caucasian James Brown, if you will.
Nice.
And he'd always start his show, and I heard this story. I don't know if it's true or not, but he always started his show by jumping on the stage. And what he'd do is he had little trampolines that he would hit. Then he would spring himself off on the stage. So one show, they're getting ready. He's going on, and he hits the trampoline, gets up on the trampoline, hits a beam, flat on his back, out cold.
What? Careful the next time you want to go for a bounce.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So, by the way, Brooksy has one of those things, and they do call them rebounders. Although let's be honest, they're mini trampolines. But she bought one of those. Apparently, it's supposed to get one of your cells moving or something like that, or there's some actual organic, natural thing about getting something moving in your body besides your typical exercise from a trampoline. I'm not sure what the hell it is.
Does Brooksy use that after you break in the house to calm her down? You're still keep bouncing today.
When she sees that lamp.
Why don't we get to the week that was, since Lester just returned?
Let's discuss the week that was with James Duffy and the Rubber Boots Podcast crew.
I always like to ask you guys, how we doing? We're 3 weeks plus now into this thing. Just a little round the table. How is everybody coping with life? This is a safe place. All our listeners are our friends. If anyone is struggling, Puffy, you sort of gave hints that you were struggling a little bit last week. How you doing?
I would say I'm doing a lot better this week, because last week when we got the whole 12-week thing, that did seem a little daunting. But I don't know, a week later, I find the days actually they're going by pretty quick. Even though they're the same sort of over, we're in a pretty good rhythm here at my house, and the weather's good. Now, I'm worried with the weather turning, and we're kept indoors more, and you can't go out to the yard, can't rollerblade on the street or something, that it might get a little dark in here, and we'll start fighting. But
you could rollerblade, right, as long as there's nobody else around?
Yeah, no, kids rollerblade up and down the middle of the street.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah, there's one near them. Yeah,
I think
if it rains, then can't really do that anymore. And
I would agree with you wholeheartedly, though, that I felt like the last 2 weeks of March were 6 months long. And then for whatever reason, maybe it's just us adjusting, that as soon as April turned, I feel like it's back to normal, that the days are not flying by, but moving by. Like April is kind of shot by.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that end of March felt like it took forever, and now we're I don't know, April 8th today or whatever. It feels like it's going by pretty quick.
How are you doing, Lester, besides working hard?
You know what? I would share Puff's assessment of your assessment. When March kind of dragged on, but now I think part of it is definitely it being into April, the nicer weather. You can leave your house, go for a walk, whatever. I think that's been important. More daylight, quite frankly. But I've been busy. I've been trying to, obviously TSN's keeping me busy, but also, I've been doing some writing, and I was not kidding about New Jack COVID. If I'm not mistaken. So
why you're wearing your tank top? Oh, look at that bicep.
I'm getting ready.
Stop. You better take a screenshot of that for the ladies. Maybe one more flex, Lester. Jeez, that's impressive.
Look at that. Oh, yeah.
One second. There we
go.
Beautiful.
Did you get it?
Yeah, I got it.
You'd look good if you put a pair of panties over your face with that and those biceps. Stoff, how you making out, buddy? You still working your ass off?
Yeah, I'm doing all right. Keeping busy. Gotta make a Costco run at some point. So I'm mentally preparing.
How you feeling about that?
So when this all started 3 weeks ago, I went to Costco and we kind of stocked up, but I guess I didn't realize it was going to be what it was going to be. So definitely want to go and get some stuff to hold us over for the next 6 months.
What are your items going to be? I'm just curious.
Everything in bulk, buddy. Just everything.
You could probably get a rebounder there.
Probably. The new Jack COVID, baby.
Wouldn't it be hilarious if next week we come back and there's Sauce Rebounder in the back there?
Just bouncing up and down.
You never know.
So it's funny you say that, Stoff, because I made my first venture out. I've basically been, at home or walking around the neighborhood for 3 straight weeks, except we went and picked up our groceries curbside, the way I told you about. But my grocery store has gotten popular. We literally ran out of food.
Oh, my God.
And we're waiting for a delivery. So we also ran out of booze. And so Brooksy and I ventured out yesterday, 2 stops, liquor store stop number 1. Not too busy, picked a good time, and it really impressed with the way they do things there. The same sort of social distancing and the little arrows in the aisleways to make sure you're not near anybody. We bought 23 bottles of wine.
Wow!
Wow.
A week's supply.
Well, Brooksy's philosophy was we don't want to come out too often, and if this lasts 4 months or 6 months, so we're stocked now. And then we went to the superstore, which also very efficient, except I felt, first of all, the decision we had to make was, do you wear something on your face? Which, they are now advising to do that, but I still feel a little strange about it.
You didn't wear the panties?
I did not. So I was going to mention this and things I saw on Twitter, but did you guys see that Barstool posted a guy driving around a Walmart on a scooter, actually, with panties on his face. So I have started the trend that is sweeping the nation. So I ended up putting a bandana on. I actually looked pretty badass. So I had shades and a ball cap and a bandana. I looked like a bandito.
Wow.
And I was thinking that this would be a perfect time to rob a store if you were a criminal, because everybody's wearing those same things.
But look, I'll tell you quite seriously, guys. I went out to grocery shop the other day as well, and I'm thinking about this. I'm a black man. I got dreadlocks. I got I had my head scarf on, and I have a thing on my face. Am I gonna get shot? What I mean? I'm half kidding, but you know what I mean?
It is weird. On any other day or time of our normal world, if I walked into that store yesterday, I would have been on the ground cuffed.
Oh, yeah.
With this bandana over my...
You would be robbing it if you were dressed that way.
Yeah, 100%. You would be. But it was fairly normal. And but I still felt not panicked, but in a sense of hurry to get out of there. And so in that way, it was like panic shopping. And my daughter, Nature's a pretty healthy store. We haven't had hardly any snacks around. So the one thing my daughter said to me was get snacks. Mm-hmm. And it was essentially, you ever see when the occasionally a little kid will win, a shopping spree at Toys R Us where they have 2 minutes to get everything they want?
Yeah.
Yeah. And they just go running down the aisle, shoveling things into the cart. Well, that was me, Puffy. It was like jujubes, brownies, chocolate-covered almonds. It was like Puffy on one of his Bulk Barn runs.
I missed the. Well, I saw the other day Bulk Barn is open still.
Yikes!
Makes
you
sense.
need to get there.
Makes
Like,
sense.
how can Bulk Barn be open though? Like that does not seem like essential service.
Yeah, but that's just
No.
But that's literally everyone sticking their hands into boxes of food.
That is how the coronavirus started.
Yeah, that's rough.
At Bulk Barn?
Yeah,
At the Bulk Barn in Wuhan?
yeah.
James, when you're going out, what are you wearing on your hands? Are you wearing gloves or?
Are you asking me? I was wearing rubber gloves.
Okay. Because the only thing I have in my house are dishwashing gloves, and I may have to wear those out.
Well, that's basically, so I was out, I don't know. Our cleaning lady had a box of rubber gloves, and she ran out of them like a month ago, just coincidentally with the virus. So I'd bought another box of them for her. And those just disposable ones, right? That you wear for an hour and then you throw out. And so that's what Brooksy and I were wearing. But again, most people, maybe half the people in the store had masks on of some sort, but half the people had nothing. And but everyone was pretty good with the social distancing.
Did you shame the people that weren't wearing masks?
I did not. But I was, there was a couple of times you forget, and I did get like close to people. I was grabbing something out of the freezer, and then I kind of caught myself going, I'm about to get yelled at by someone, because it's a training of human behavior that's you're not used to, right? So I'd be like, oh, sorry, and run back my 8 feet or whatever to stay away from them.
But the thing is, like I've gone out a few times. I've never worn a mask, and because everything that was said is the masks aren't really necessary, and that all the masks should be saved for the people who are on the front lines.
Sure. No, okay, I'm with you, and that's why I used a bandana.
All of a sudden, like 1 week later, it's like, oh, everyone should be wearing. Like, well, what is it?
On both sides of the border, the health officials are taking a little bit of heat for that, for different messages. And I think it's probably right, Puff, that it's not going to do a ton. It does more in preventing you spreading the disease than it would be you getting the disease. But it still feels like, I don't know, it feels like maybe you're inhaling less when you have a bandana over your face or something. But I'm with you. I hope people aren't using the good masks for it, and just, make something homemade if it makes you feel a little bit better, a little bit safer. Maybe it only cuts things by 10% or something like that. Certainly, we have no idea. We're not medical experts.
Not a doctor.
But there has been a little bit of mixed messaging. But now both sides of the border are saying, recommending you wear them. And I think they're probably saying that to get the entire population to wear them, just for the sake of those who are infected that don't know it wearing them, right?
Yeah.
I think that's the key that I would like to see. I personally think if there were masks available for everyone, we should wear them, because I think it's key.
But everything you read is all about these shortages for the people on the front
So
lines.
just cover your face in some way. Make sure you're covering your mouth and your nose.
It always comes back to panties in the end. Let's get to Puffy's hypotheticals.
Puffy's hypotheticals, who really gives a crap? All the ladies want to hear is the Rod Smith recap. Blah, 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 blah. Roddy is the best.
Now, we have a list of hypotheticals this week. We were talking about golf and my dream, and I just stole this, Puffy, directly online from Golf Digest. This isn't more for Stoff and Lester. It's probably a very selfish question just for you and me, and maybe Bump, who's probably listening. Would you rather play Augusta National once or have unlimited rounds on the par 3 at Augusta National for the rest of your life, Puffy?
I would rather have unlimited rounds at Augusta National's par 3.
Now, but would you say the same if we hadn't, you and I obviously will take that because we played the main course, but if we hadn't played, what would be your answer?
I still think it would be the unlimited rounds at the par 3 course.
I don't think I would. I think that I'd probably take the other one at the time, because that one memory is too great, and the par
But imagine
man, it's-
every year we went back, you could just like we
Yeah,
bring
that
the
would be
club.
fun.
You're playing that par 3 course like 3 or 4 times. That would be
Because
amazing.
it is. The par 3 course in some ways is the second prettiest course I've ever
it's
seen.
worth- And
It's-
it's way easier as far as like, I mean, Bump thinks he can shoot 32. Like, I mean, you could actually get a hole in one there.
No, you actually could. Especially if you played it every day for the rest of your life. Puffy, you had a hypothetical. It is your segment.
Well, my hypothetical was I was watching Curb Your Enthusiasm, and they had a episode where somebody gifted Larry David a sex doll.
Mm-hmm.
And, in these times of quarantine when everyone is sort of on their own, I mean, obviously Lester would be the only one in this particular, but say you're on your own. There's nobody else with you.
Don't underestimate what Lester could do with the rebounder.
Yeah, you like that?
And somebody were
You like going up and down like this, baby? Yeah.
That is fine.
Bouncy, bouncy, bouncy. Put some Barry White in the background.
Be a great skit. Lester goes crazy after 6 months in quarantine. He's like playing gigs, and he thinks the rebounder. He thinks he's really feeling it that night, and the rebounder is giving him the eye. Yeah, I saw the way you looked at me after that last song. Sorry, Puffy. Continue.
So somebody were to gift you a sex doll. How long do you think you would take before you would try the sex doll?
Wow.
You're alone?
You're alone. Yeah, you're in quarantine. There's no. Brooksy is not there.
Hold on, who's gifting you the sex doll, and is it a used or a new sex doll?
An anonymous donor who knew you might be in need.
7 minutes. I mean, you're all alone. Nobody's ever going to know.
Staff.
I like that it's how long will it take, not will you actually use it.
Puffy didn't even contemplate that scenario.
Very telling. So this is just open-ended. You're like alone for how long?
You're alone for the next year.
8 minutes.
You always have to Price is Right me.
That's it. One up.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
Lester?
For me, it's gonna. I could probably hold out for quite some time, to be truthful. I'm not. I'll be honest with you. I've never even thought about a sex doll in my life.
I mean, I'm the same way, but I wanted to, play with the answer.
Sure you are.
Okay, can I ask you a question, Puffy? Because you're a little more knowledgeable in the online porn world and things like that than I am. Those sex dolls are anatomically correct?
They do have those versions now. Like, I believe your favorite star.
What? You can request a celebrity, you mean?
Yeah, like a celebrity in the adult industry.
Oh, okay. Okay.
There's no James left the adult. That's what you're going at.
I'm just waiting for Puffy to pan to the back seat.
Me and my girlfriend, she's always surprised.
So I saw that in one of these documentary segments or something somewhere that one of these guys had married his doll. I think it was a podcast I listened to about like the porn trade and something, and a guy had got this doll and married it. So
yeah.
What? Okay, so you said that you can buy these ones that are anatomically correct. How do they make?
There's some molding involved.
Okay, and is there a release of some sort of lubricant?
I think you'd have to bring that yourself.
Because there would be like a lot of chafing possibilities. I've never thought about this before, but now I'm curious.
Yeah, I think you would probably need some kind of a lube.
Lester, could you order one and have it for next week on the pod just to answer these questions?
That's fine. Just so you know, it's going to be black. You okay with that?
For sure. The Amazon guy drops by Lester's house. He's like, "Hey, you're the same guy who ordered the rebounder."
That's right. I am.
Are you using them together?
It's a combo deal.
Maybe I am.
The rebounder is the gateway to their porn dolls.
Stoff had a couple of other hypotheticals he came up with, and by the way, a very elaborate and well-researched set of notes for today's segment of things that I saw
Strong
on Twitter.
word, brother.
Thank you.
Strong word.
You know what? He's sort of, now that he's got hypotheticals, he's kind of taking over every segment, and this I greatly approve of. Let's see here. Which one do you want me to use there, Stoff?
We can go with the Tom Brady.
You're Tom Brady. You can win one more Super Bowl this year with the Tampa Bay Bucks. But over the rest of your career, Bill will win 3 more with 2 other QBs. One of them is Jamarcus Russell. Or neither of you win, but Bill beats you in your only head-to-head regular season game. What do you choose? Brady's going to take the one more Super Bowl, isn't he?
100%, yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
I think the whole point of him moving is to try to prove to everybody he's not just Belichick and the Pats, right?
Yeah, and I think that he does that. Even if Belichick wins 3 more, if Brady wins 1 more, they've both kind of accomplished it, right?
Sure.
But what if it's with Jamarcus Russell? What if Bill proves he can win with anybody?
That is a good point.
I mean, Jamarcus Russell has a big arm still, I think.
Probably got a rebounder at home, too.
I think he didn't use his rebounder. That was the problem.
What can you go without longer, toilet paper or the internet? I will say at the Superstore yesterday, I was able to get toilet paper because we were down to 2 rolls.
Oh, my
between
God.
4 members in our family.
I don't
Able to
want to
pick
get
up,
that low for myself, Jimmy. Oh, my God.
No.
You're living on the edge.
I'm telling you, it was getting a little desperate around here. What can you go without longer, toilet paper or the internet? I'm going to go toilet paper because, I got a lot of trees. I got a lot of foliage back here. And there's always the shower, as we've talked about.
As long as you have running water, you're good. I'm not giving up the internet.
Yeah.
Guys, can you imagine this pandemic without the technology we have now? Like, wow. Think about that,
That'd be rough.
Yeah, our kids would be killing each other by now. But, well, that would have been the 1918 one, right? I mean, in 1918, in the Spanish flu, were they smart enough to just say everybody stay at home? Like, I'm sure social distancing wasn't exactly a term.
No.
Just take it a little longer to get to everyone.
That's right.
Much agreed.
Okay, good stuff. Let's get to an extended edition of things that I saw on Twitter.
Freaky pigs, strange chicks, world affairs, polar bears, fake news, nice shoes, big boobs, jack dudes. All of these things and more as I sat on the shitter. Things that I saw on Twitter.
I'm glad you put this one in here, Stoff, because I saw it on the Twitter. Jay Cutler is stuck in Turks and Caicos.
Yeah, I saw that.
Oh, my God.
With, what is it, Kristen Cavaleros or whatever? What's her name?
Cavallari. I think Cavallari.
Did we ever discuss on the pod the fact that one of our pals was in that show?
Yes, we did.
Yes.
We did. Yeah. And they just used him as the Canadian, and she basically made him come down there for two episodes and then broke up with him and sent him the hell home.
Yeah.
But now I was trying to decipher, as you guys know, I know the island very well, where they are. And I can't tell. And the beaches are closed in Turks and Caicos, and they were definitely in the ocean, but they must have a beachfront villa where you can probably go and jump in the water. But
nice.
I saw another thing on a couple that are stuck. So there's a couple is stuck in the Maldives, and they went late. Like, the date they left was kind of questionable, but I guess South Africa was a little bit late behind us on this thing, and they missed the last flight out, and so now they're the only people left at this resort. And they have a funny rule in those islands that the entire staff, they can't send anybody home if there are any guests at the hotel. So the entire resort, the entire staff is there. So they go to breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and there's 9 people waiting on them. And there's entertainment every night. And the entertainers come and perform just for them.
VIP.
Wow.
But the weird part of it is the only way out is they have to charter a plane, which is $100,000. And I guess there's a few other people stuck in the various islands around there, and they're trying to get together with them to rent a plane. But they say, it sounds like an incredibly romantic story, but it's probably going to break them financially. And they've been there for like 24 days now, just by themselves at this resort.
So are they having to pay the whole time?
Yeah, they gave them a very discounted rate, but it's still probably pretty expensive. They said it's cutting into their savings pretty badly. But again, they should have known probably and gotten out while they should have. There was ample opportunities to get out, but they seem like they're having fun, but stuck in paradise is not always the best thing in the world.
Wouldn't they at some point be able to just go get like an Airbnb or something? Instead of
I think those islands are so small, Lester, that there's literally nothing there. Like on the island, there might be one resort, and that's the only thing that's actually there.
Wow.
So I don't know. They may be home by now. I saw that about a week ago. A bunch of our faithful followers tweeted us about Dana White securing a private island for UFC fights.
Call me, Dana. Call me. I got some ideas.
Scott Nordland, Sean, I can't name everybody because there was about 15 people that tweeted to the Rubber Boots account saying, "Is this not how Murder Island begins?"
I very much so. Again, listen, we have with TSM, we obviously have a very strong relationship with the UFC and Dana White, but I would not be above asking for a piece of that rights fee.
Absolutely.
Copyright infringement.
You're already on an island. You just surround the octagon with sharks. The rest writes itself.
I still have, and by the time this comes out, there might be more developments, but I still have serious doubts about this idea of baseball going to Arizona in a kind of like biosphere type situation where you're isolating everybody that's involved, the umpires, the players, the officials, etc., and they all go out and play regular games all the time at these different stadiums. Until we're at the point again where you can test someone instantaneously and get a result, I don't know. I'll believe it when I see it.
Well, the one thing I would say, I'll say two things. Number one, having a smaller sample size, assuming nobody goes into it with this virus would be helpful. But also, if we're talking about Arizona, we were talking about, I've heard this a number of times now, that viruses do not like heat. So if you have a hot enough environment, can a virus potentially, I'm not saying this is the case, but are we a little less likely to have this thing survive?
Yeah, they say that, but there's still people that have cases there. And again, all it takes is one person, and you have to shut down the league.
And that's the rub.
Although, if you can get to the point where one person tests positive and you can remove them from the situation
and then shoot them into the sun,
test everybody again immediately who they've been around, maybe you can continue. But that just still feels like months away for me till they do something like that. I'm as desperate as anybody else for sports to start again, but that just seems far-fetched. Now, tennis or golf, again, a little more realistic a scenario where, again, with no fans I'm talking about,
yep.
If you could get some sort of instantaneous or quick result test that was widely available, all the caddies, all the players, all the officials get tested. In tennis's sake, not as many players, not as many officials, coaches, whatever it may be. That's a scenario that I still think golf and tennis, as far as the mainstream sports, will be the first sports to start up before baseball, hockey, football, etc. But we'll see.
Did anyone think that solitaire was going to get a lot bigger?
Did you invest in a solitaire professional league?
Not that.
A little disappointed.
As usual, Stoff, you sit on it and then bam.
I've started playing poker again, which is terrible. For my bank account.
Yeah, Brooksy's trying to teach me euchre, which I've never played. I'm not a card guy. I have no patience for cards. Sorry, can't do it.
If I may say, I know that you're in the middle of things we saw on Twitter, but I'm loving that goatee on you, James Duffy.
It's a lot of sexy, eh?
It's happening.
Puffy, am I winning you over?
Yeah, no, it's looking better.
If they do a sex doll of me, should it have the goatee?
There should be quarantine James sex doll, and then also James Duthie sex doll for trade deadline day.
Yeah.
At the end of trade deadline day, where I'm sweaty and disgusting.
At the beginning.
And I like the hair is looking good too, man.
Darren Drager, end of trade center sex doll. Oh God.
God. What's his line? I'm gonna throw away these boxers or whatever.
Every day, Lester and Stoff, every trade center when we get off the air, Drags goes, "Yep, these underwear are going straight in the garbage."
All right.
And it's never not disgusting. More things that I saw on Twitter: panda porn. Pandas prefer mating, and all the while they did it panda style. You kind of need to see the photo for this one. It is definitely pandas making love. What was the idea to this stuff? Is it just that they weren't mating before when people were around, and now that the zoos are closed?
Yeah, now that the zoo's empty, they see that the pandas are starting to mate on their own. Yeah, it's obviously good for the species. So
now, what did they have to do before? How did they make the pandas mate before? That's a documentary I need to see. What do you do to get the pandas?
I imagine it's a lot like that picture with a person in the middle somewhere in there. Kind of disturbing.
Well, good to know the pandas are getting some love out there.
Okay, guys, I'm sorry. I've got to jump off to a call right now.
Hey, Lester, we did the first half without you. We'll forge on without you, okay?
All right, guys. God bless. Thanks, everybody listening.
Leave the video up, though. Leave the video up.
Can't do it. Can't do it. Bye.
See ya, buddy.
Lester still has no idea damn, man, what are you thinking? What that is?
Yeah, no idea.
He's checked out now. Okay, let's see. Here we go. More Tiger drama. Carol Baskin from Tiger King, Missing Husband, takes center stage in a new crime docuseries. Since the Netflix series took the nation by storm, Baskin has taken the brunt of heat from the shocking allegations. Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert.
Throughout the series, for the theory that she may have killed and fed her first husband to the tigers. And so they're going to do a new series about this stuff.
Yep. So another network has picked up that story, and they're going to do a whole new docuseries, I guess a spin-off, if you will.
Puffy has told me that he finally watched The Tiger King this week. So instead of doing What You Watching, why don't you chime in right now? Did you enjoy it? What were your thoughts?
F you, Duthie, for making me watch this. This is it's like the most, I watch it with I hate these people. These people are the worst people, but yes, I have to watch another episode.
Yeah, but that's exactly what I felt. That's why I wanted you to share in that pain.
It's just why am I doing this? Oh my God, I got to watch more. And it's crazy how everything happens. And then it's like that the producer guy from Hard Copy, who's the shadiest ever. And it's he just his studio gets burned down. He's like, I was left with nothing. I had a nervous breakdown, and he's gone. It's he's gone. They just wrote that off. It's yeah, he almost people are killing themselves accidentally or not. Tigers are eating. How many people have tigers? Everyone has. I got bought a tiger. I've had tigers since I was 17. Who ever thought of having a tiger? The tiger. The guy's arm gets ripped off. He's back to work the next day.
Oh, that was the craziest part for me, where she got her arm gnawed off, and then they told her, well, it could take a year of reconstructive surgery, and she's like, nah, just cut it off.
Yeah, I gotta get back here because I have to be with these crazy. The head of security is these people have. It's what the. It's crazy.
That rant right there, Stoff.
A lot of beeps.
That is the perfect first installment of. Damn, man, what were you thinking? Why are you buying tigers?
But it's insane. Joe Exotic. I haven't even started with him. That guy.
I know. Did you remember that guy, the reporter you're talking about? I remember him from Hard Copy when he was an on-air reporter.
Yeah, I kind of remember him when they showed the old clips.
Now he lost. Imagine all the footage he had. If that all got lost in the fire, because he was in there every day, right?
Well, that's the thing. And when I was watching it, I'm like, why are we watching this footage? Why are we watching this guy's footage? And then all of a sudden it's like, well, that's why we're not watching. And he's like, it's $1 million idea. You were right. It was a $1 million idea. Like, but you lost it all. Like, this guy must. I can't believe he agreed to do interviews with these guys who basically took his idea and ran with it.
Yeah, I know. Whoever the producer guy with the beard who's on camera occasionally, he is rolling in it right now. Because that thing's had about 1 billion watches on the Netflix.
Hold on 1 second. The Caroline chick, the one,
Carol?
the other Carol. Like, how is what she's doing any different than the other guys?
That's what Brooksy and I were saying the entire show. Those tigers don't look in any better condition. I would think, I guess, they're not, there's not petting zoo type things where they're grabbing the cubs away from the mothers so people can come and pet them. Maybe they're fed a little bit better and taken a little better care of, but they're still in cages.
It's a bit more restricted.
But she's acting like she's this Mother Teresa to tigers, and she's got them all in cages too and making money off them.
I know. I 100% feel the same way. And
Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert.
And she killed her husband.
Oh, that guy was definitely fed to the tigers.
Oh, yeah. Well, you knew someone was getting fed to the tigers.
But the greasiest guy of them all is that other guy with the blonde mullet, like bald on top.
Oh, the guy who stole Joe Exotic's place? Who has
No, not that guy. The guy...
He runs his own.
Yeah. That guy who's with about the 8 wives?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Doc. Yeah, Doc. He needs his own show. That guy is shady.
He's running... I think he's the shadiest of them all. He's just a little bit smarter, so he's gotten away with it.
Yeah.
Joe Exotic is the brightest.
Mayor's wife found at Corona party. Alton Mayor Brant Walker had an awkward apology to make Monday after he sent police to break up illegal parties, and his wife was caught at one of them at 1 a.m.
Yikes.
First off, how do you not know where your wife is at 1 a.m?
I don't think everything's well in that marriage.
No. Not at all.
Where the hell is Alton, by the way? It's probably like Ohio or something, right? Alton, Nebraska?
Probably.
I think it's where they filmed The Tiger King.
Yeah.
Kareem donates safety goggles. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar donating 900 safety goggles. Look as good as I did, he says.
Love that.
That's one of the best stories of coronavirus time.
Yeah, that's good.
I love that.
Kareem has told his team to source high-quality medical products, including goggles, and donate them to UCLA, Health Scripts, and other hospitals this week.
Nice.
And Chicago expects stray cat boom. Chicago in danger of too many unneutered cats getting it on throughout the city of Chicago. Did you see another shot of Chicago? I think I might have mentioned last week there was a shot from San Francisco of a coyote following a couple. There was a shot on the weekend from Michigan Avenue in Chicago. Anybody who doesn't know Michigan Ave, it's like Fifth Ave in New York, where all the stores are, busiest street in Chicago, completely empty with a coyote walking down the middle of it at like 3 o'clock in the afternoon on a Sunday.
No way.
It is like scenes from Walking Dead. Yeah, it's just ludicrous. Another fine edition of things that I saw on Twitter from our man Stoff. Before we go today, guys, this was a note I got from someone on our Instagram, and I guess I had written, I'm going to leave out that somebody was thanking me for sending a note to a nurse and a doctor, but that's not the point of me reading this. It's to all you guys, to the guys of the Rubber Boots Pod. I know you rarely check your Instagram. Bang on. This is about the first time in 6 months.
Correct.
But I'm hoping you get this. My sister sent me a video that James recorded for my wife and I as a surprise to brighten our spirits. Let me tell you, it boosted our spirits. This was the point I wanted to read. I work as a paramedic in Edmonton, and my wife Chelsea is an ER nurse. We are fighting the virus day in and day out. We've been blessed to have a couple of days off, work with the kids, but have to head back. And it seems like a daunting task. People are scared. No one wants to catch this thing. The sad part is that some people have been lying to healthcare staff about their symptoms. And since COVID is so highly contagious, it basically forces us to assume that everyone has it to protect ourselves It's hard to be at work wearing all the PPE gear all the time because your patients and coworkers can't see you smile. The easiest way to show someone you are caring about them is to smile. Anyway, it hasn't been easy. It's not going to get easier for quite some time. I hope and pray that as a country, we can learn to find ways to connect and be close to people while maintaining our distance. Thank you so much for the message, and thank you for what you guys do on the Rubber Boots Pod. So I wanted to read that to you guys and to read that to everybody out there. We have been doing this every week, that we end by thanking everyone who's out there in healthcare and essential workers that are taking care of us, because we greatly appreciate it. Besides doing these pods, we feel pretty helpless, don't we? Don't we, Puff?
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Next week, we'll be back with another episode. Hopefully Lester will have his lovely black sex doll.
What if we go back next week and the rebounder's broken in the background?
Lester will have his sex doll in the shot, and I'll say, time for Lester. Damn, man, what were you thinking? And he'll still have no clue. Thank you, boys. We'll see you next week on the Rubber Boots Pod.
Cheers.
I can't see anyone right now.
What?
You can't see anyone?
No, it went back into the Skype menu. I don't know how to get back into the call.
Loser.
Jesus.
Oh, okay. Hold on. That looks better. No, I just took a still frame.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
We just decided to continue the podcast without you. We're almost done now.
Still works.
Thanks, everybody, for listening. We'll see you next week on the Rubber Boots Podcast.
I'm pretty hard right now.
How are ya? I got a question that I really wanna ask ya. Wait, don't hang up. I need to know, so I'm gonna try and push my luck. Are you wearing your rubber boots tonight? Are they purple, yellow, green, or black or white? Are you wearing your rubber boots tonight? Do you like the dunk tank at the fair? Oh, I know it's a little strange, my obsession with your choice of footwear in the rain. And I know that you're on TV, but I need you to put your boots up on the desk for me. Are you wearing your rubber boots tonight? Are they purple, yellow, green, or black or white? Are you wearing your rubber boots tonight? Do you like the dunk tank or the fair? This is the part they call the bridge. A bridge has water under it. With rubber boots you can wade in the water. Just don't fall in. Are you wearing your rubber boots tonight? Are they purple, yellow, green, or black or white? Are you wearing your rubber boots tonight? Do you like the dunk tank at the fair? Do you really like the dunk tank at the fair? Dunk tank.
Are you wearing your rubber boots tonight?